All right, so we have here gesso, white gesso, a bit of alizarin crimson, and cerulean blue. So what we're trying to do is prime the canvas instead of working on white. First, we're going to prime the canvas with the water background, just the water, nothing else. And then we will transfer the duck on top and we'll start painting. So it's easier to do that than to draw the duck or put the painting there, the drawing, and then try to avoid the lines. This will give us a smooth kind of beautiful texture. So what I do, I'm going to do is take this bottle of spray, just a bit, not much.
The canvas.
The canvas. My gesso is not thick. It's not a thick gesso. It's just a thin kind of, not too thin, but not thick, heavy. I'm going to take a bit of that alizarin crimson. So alizarin crimson is a cool color and cerulean blue is a cool color. Both of them are cool colors. I'm going to dip my, I'm not dipping my brush. I'm dipping the tip of my brush with a bit of water. I'm going to take cerulean. And get to this kind of not too pink and not too blue, in between, kind of a grayish, more on the blue side maybe. Yeah. So remember, acrylic dries darker. And some areas we're going to add a bit of more crimson, some areas more blue. So this is already, wow. Okay. White brush. And I'm going to go across on an angle, diagonal, because this is what I see in there. So even if I take white, my gesso, and I go like that, look at this, it's so beautiful and soft. I'm gonna add a little bit of more blue in here. Yeah. If you find that your paint is drying, just dip the tip of your brush in water. It's beautiful. It's like a pastel, beautiful color. We're not trying to blend. We're just putting the color there. If by the time we're done, if I find that the paint is drying dark and that's not the color that we want, you can always glaze it with a lighter color, because acrylic, it's very hard to gauge how dark the acrylic is going to dry. So the best thing to do is just let it dry, and then we'll see if it's too dark, then we will, I'm going to darken a little bit, add blue, darker blue, where the green is going to be at the bottom, or I'm sorry, at the top. because this is going to be a bit darker in here. We're going to put some green. This is more of a little bit more white gesso in here. I'm just gonna go over this part. I cleaned my brush because it's getting really dry. Softening a bit the lines. Oops. The strong lines, because it dries, you know, acrylic dries in a way it's sometimes it's streaky. Come on. So that softened the lines a bit. The streaky lines, acrylic, the way acrylic is drying. Here we go. I'm not too concerned about this area or up here because we're going to put some green in there. I'll tell you what, the most important area is right here because the rest is going to be covered with the duck. It's just over here. And that's all I want to do. I don't want to put any more. That's enough. I'll wait for it to dry and see how it goes. You know, using a wide brush helps because it helps a lot because the paint dries fast. And if you're using a wide brush, you're covering bigger areas. So you don't end up with areas that are, you know, if you use smaller one here, by the time I come to this part, the paint is dry already. So this way, it's good to use big brush. So this is now dry, completely dry, hopefully. White gesso, yellow ochre, cerulean blue, and I'm gonna do, you know, mix a green that's like an earthy green. So yeah, these two colors, they give you that toned down earthy green. And try to mix a big Mix the whole color, like both of them.
That dark?
Yeah, I'm gonna put white in it in a minute. I'm just putting a big amount of paint in here so I don't have to remix it again. White, water.
See, my mistake is I mix everything together instead of starting.
No.
I know it's a mistake that I always catch myself making.
Yeah, because the colors they affect each other, so you can't really gauge what you're mixing unless you mix them separately, and then you add whatever you want in there. You know, if you want to add white, add it after. I'm putting water in here, eh? Okay. I have a feeling this is going to dry darker, so I'm going to put a bit more white in here. Gesso.
Pretty green.
Yes, that's why, you know, make it like a pastel color.
Yes.
A light, soft green. Use another brush.
How big is your brush? Can I see? Okay. So it's very runny?
Yeah, yes. It's more like a glaze. I'm going to keep a bit of green, bit of the background color in between. I'm not going to cover it completely. Anyway, it's going to, by the time the paint dries, you'll see a bit of that color showing through. Okay. Go across a bit this way. You know, like I said, mentioned before, don't worry about those streaks. You don't try to cover them. Don't try to do anything. The duck is going to be here. Green is going to be from up down, and you can see a little bit of that. That's it.
Is
You're
there
not
going to be
gonna...
green at the top? Are you carrying it through
Yeah,
to the top?
dark green, but not with gesso, not with this. The
Oh, I
dark,
see. So do you
yeah.
want us to stop 3/4 up?
If you want, yeah, you could. Actually, I'm gonna take it up. It just I didn't. The only reason I didn't take it up is just because um, I was trying to keep some blue, the top part, but really it doesn't matter. You know, just kind of a bit of kind of showing through. I want some of the blue and the pink to show through. I don't want it to be completely one color again. That's good. That's enough.
Did you go all the way down to the left? No, I can tell. Bottom left, the green.
Here?
Yep.
Yeah, just a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
I did. I did. Okay. See how, there's a bit of blue showing through. I'm not going to try to completely get rid of it. I'm going to keep some of that blue. Try to take advantage of the color of the actual canvas. I have to change my brush. I'm not trying to copy exactly what's happening. It's just an idea. The idea is the important part. I have to change my brush in a minute. So I'm doing the all of the horizontal kind of lines that I need to put in there. Is this like a dry brush right now? Bit of a dry brush. See which brush is going to be the best one for those beautiful kind of reflection down. All right. Don't want to do too much of that. I will take away from the duck. But I will, at this point, try to clean up a bit. So I'm going to take a bit of white, titanium white. I'm going to clean up in between. Let's take sap green. Or actually better take Hooker's green and sap green and put white. And come here.
Are you doing negative painting?
Yes, negative painting, exactly. So I'm gonna clean up a bit. The only reason I'm doing this is just because it's a bit busy right now. It looks a bit busy, and it will look much nicer with the water cleaned in between, reflection of the sky. Actually, having said that, I'll probably put some blue as well. Where's my blue? It's nice to see different kind of shades of blues and greens in the water here. I'm sure we're gonna have to continue next week this part, because we're gonna put some kind of what are these, reeds?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're gonna put them up too. It's not gonna be only just a reflection.
So what are you using, Lael, to do the negative painting?
So I'm using right now a combination of the two greens that I've been using, sap and Hooker's green with white. And I'm adding a touch of blue in there too, cerulean blue, just a
Are you
bit.
using titanium white?
Yes, titanium white now. I'm using titanium white. So I'll show you in a minute. I'm just going to try, I'm just trying to clean up this. And I'll show you in a minute what I would do as well. I would kind of put a bit more white. I'm not trying to completely cover the lines, the blue, the first layer that we have, the water. I'm just putting a bit of green in between the greens, because this is what you see usually. The water reflects a lot of the greens that are up here. And here, I'll change my brush, take a bit more white in my green, highlight the green I'm using.
Why are we doing that? What does it do?
Just reflection of the light of the sky. It's not just kind of a flat. You don't want it to look like it's flat. You want water usually reflects a lot of light, and you know, whatever is around it as well.
So the original mixture that you had,
Pardon?
it had green in it. The original mixture that you had,
Yes.
it's green with white.
Yes. Yes. It's green with white. So I'm adding a tiny bit of white now, and I'm going in between. I'm adding more white into my green, and I'm adding a little bit of that whitish green in between to give it sparkle, like to give it it looks really, it looks like the water is reflecting the sky and the light around it. The light is bouncing back and forth in the water. Open up some of these. You know, when you're painting, you don't want all of your brush strokes to be one color. You want to change your color a bit. And you'll see in a minute, I will take the same here. This is a bit of blue, green, or just green. Take green and put some sap green with white. Make it like a glaze. And in between, I would put as well the same kind of a very faint, beautiful, light green. Here, maybe now you can see it better.
Oh,
In between. So it's not all like dark
see.
Dark reflection. You know what I mean? Like it's not only one kind of a colors all the way. You will see a beautiful, soft reflection in some areas, and some areas will have darker reflection. And that's why I'm saying it's going to take maybe for next week, we will have to keep, or if you want to work on it, until next week, then add more, say, do exactly what I'm doing right now, just clean up.
So the water should have some green in it.
Mm-hmm. Blues,
and then
greens,
add the highlights.
Green, blue, different, it reflects a lot of, water reflects a lot. There's a lot of reflection in water. I'm going to add a little bit more blue in here. Cerulean blue. A little bit more. I'm going to change. I didn't clean my brush. I'm just adding a little bit blue. I'm not cleaning it. I just don't, I just want to see. I think it would look really nice if you see a bit of blue in here. Light blue. See how the reflection looks softer now. All of these reflection of the reeds, they look much softer than before. Before they were harsh. But when we started working with negative painting, we're softening them. I go back usually, I wait for it to dry and then I go back and adjust the color. Add maybe a bit more white or, light green, not white. Lighter green, lighter blue. That's the thing with acrylics. You can't just sometimes put the color in and forget about it. You have to go back and adjust the value and the shade and the color. And so see the difference between this part and this part. This is harsh. This is soft right here. Camera a bit. Let's see what I'm doing.
Mine looks harsh all over.
Yours look what?
Harsh all over.
But you just have to go in between and soften. Like what I'm doing right now. It look much softer.
Are you making the lines like thinner?
I'm not trying on purpose to make the lines thinner. It's just sometimes my brush will hit the line, go over the line a bit, and it makes it softer. You know what I mean? Like I'm not doing it on purpose, but it's working. Once I'm done with this, I'll go back and add those soft, lighter green in some areas. Maybe. I'll see how it goes actually before I decide to do something like that.
So are you highlighting with more white and blue as opposed to green now?
No, I'm going in between white and blue. Green and white. Oh, geez.
Yes, I know what you mean.
Green and blue. Sometimes I'm working more with greens than blues. I'm not using that much blue. I'm using mostly greens and white. And it's more like a glaze. All right, let's keep going. You have to keep in mind that the duck is the focal point. So whatever is around the duck should not take away from it. You know, in a photo, it's different. In the reference, it's different. It's a photograph. But when we are painting, we want to make sure that whatever is surrounding the duck is not taking away from the focal point, but it's more like enhancing it or making it look even nicer. It shouldn't compete with the duck. Whatever I'm doing in here, whatever I put in here shouldn't compete with the duck. Trying not to do this part too much because I'm going to be putting the reeds in there. So I would do that maybe after I put the reeds, but still, that's actually working out very well. Looks good. So this is white and green, and then I'm going to come to this part. I'm going to introduce a bit of blue. So it's not all the way blue, white and green. So now it has a bit of blue in it. It makes it a lot more interesting than having the same color all the way from top to bottom.
Is that green that you're putting on or blue?
Mm-hmm. Green and white. I'm just trying to finish this part and mix kind of the greens I'm using. Here, let's take this one here. Bring in the greens to the blues, but not too much. So I can, I don't have a sharp line between the colors that we put before and the colors I'm putting on right now. Just a bit. Acrylics, the problem with acrylics is that just you have to keep on adjusting. Okay. So next week we'll put the reeds, and that will make this part nicer. Right now it looks very harsh and messy.
Your colors look so much brighter. Mine are drying really dark.
You're not putting enough white.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
And it's still not drying. Is your color, is your paint too
Watery?
Yes.
Probably.
That's why.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit thick. Because paint, what happens is if the paint is really watery or glazy, kind of transparent, when it dries, the color underneath will take over.
Yeah, it comes through.
Yeah.
The lighting in my kitchen studio is not the greatest either.
Kitchen studio. So what I'm doing right now is I'm adding a little bit more white to my green, and I'm going up here where in just the top part, not the whole thing. And I'm trying to highlight the top part, you know, just highlight it a bit more with lighter greens in here. I'm having the same problem, Estero. It's drying darker. Okay. I think that's good for today. So this is where we're at right now, and we will continue in 2 weeks.